The winter season arrived with a bang! Unlike the previous season, there are plenty of returning series as well as new series to catch up on. So I'm bringing this guide to cover many of the winter anime releasing this year. To make things easier for everyone, I've divided the videos into parts based on the anime genres. So all you have to do is to skip to the section you need and check the anime related to that genre. The anime mentioned here are in no specific order, unlike the normal top 10 lists, because I believe all of them are good in their own right and add something to their genre. So I'll be giving an equal place for all of them. Let's go!
携帯落ちましたよ。
ありがとう。
個性も真逆。喋ったこともなかったクラスメート、堀さんですよね。
Let's kick things off with this season's most wholesome romance anime, Redo of Healer. Okay guys, just kidding. It's none other than Hormiya. There is a girl and a boy, both with hidden personalities, and when the two find out about each of their hidden personalities, a love slowly blossoms. Miyamura in school is a glass-wearing otaku, but in truth, he is more of a silent person who is inept at studying and likes to dress like a gangster. Hori, on the other hand, is the rather popular girl of the school, but becomes basically a housewife when she gets home and starts looking after her little brother. The series may start off as a regular rom-com, but based on the fans of the manga, the series only just builds up its setting in the first few episodes. The real drama is yet to come. And even if you don't know that, there is this subtle formula in the anime that works right. Will this be the next Origairu? I'm waiting to find out. Apart from Horomiya, the other two romance anime of this season are lower tier Tomozaki-kun and Jimihen. The former is about an introvert gamer learning real-life lessons from the class idol, and the other is, needless to say, ecchi. Now I've heard both weren't doing well in terms of reviews, but I think Tomozaki-kun has better potential to become a good romance show. It's going to be one of those anime to be featured in my top 10 anime where popular girls falls for unpopular boy video. And if that's the niche for you, then go check it out. When it comes to Jimihen, I can say the best you can expect is an erotic romance that basically has no plot at all. But hey, we are speaking of a season with Redo the Healer, so compared to that, this looks like a nursery rhyme for children. Speaking of Redo the Healer, let's take a look at... Okay, I'm gonna come off as guilty here and say I've read the manga. And based on the first few chapters alone, I knew this was going to start a flaming Twitter war. If you look from the outside, this is just a story about a healer who travels back in time and takes revenge on his old comrades who abused him, thus getting the title Redo the Healer. But the rather controversial thing is on how he takes revenge. Anti-hero protagonists have always been a welcome sight for anime fans. A good example being how people basically cheered when Eren started massacring an entire city, but there are always boundaries you shouldn't step upon. And Redo of Healer seems to be a story with no bounds that runs berserk on anime grounds. And even with all the negative criticisms for the show, there still seems to be a group of people who defend it. Which side do I belong to? No thank you. I'd rather remain neutral and enjoy the Twitter war. The next controversial anime to air was X-Arm, and I'll give you a look at the visuals so you can see why there was a controversy.
Just don't watch it, it's a pain to look at. Characters are bad, premise is confusing, it's a pain to look at. Did I mention that this show is a pain to look at?
Well, I'm wondering why anime fans aren't butchering the director by now. When telling stories, the beginning matters the most. Promised Neverland, Attack on Titan, Re:Zero, Tower of God, Demon Slayer, Mob Psycho, all of these are anime that gripped us in the first episode itself. And while there are a few of the shows I mentioned airing this season, I felt The Other Side Picnic was the show that hooked me from reading the premise alone. I just read about this show in an article, and based on the poster I thought this would turn out to be a sci-fi yuri anime. But in truth it seems to have more depth than that. The only reason I checked this show was because of its premise. And even though it felt a little dragged, it felt promising. We got two girls exploring a parallel world named The Other Side. This is a show that gives off the nostalgic Stranger Things vibes, but definitely not for everyone. For one, as I mentioned before, this has an extremely slow pace, and two, there isn't much introduction about the characters or about the so-called other world. It's like we're directly thrown into the middle of the story and the producers hoped we would stay to figure out the backstory behind all this. Well, I'm staying, but not everyone is going to have that much patience when there are plenty of other popular anime out there. But speaking of hooking premise, Promised Neverland is just the other side picnic but better.
鬼なんだよな。あんたも、あの男も。
The children have now escaped the orphanage and are running for their lives. I mean, the show literally starts by showing how they run for their lives. Emma is back, Ray is back, and the other children are basically minor characters, so no need to care about them. I'm only halfway through the manga and I can tell that this season will contain the revelations, like that last part of Attack on Titan Season 3. Due to that reason, the show might lose a little bit of that tension it had in the first season with prison break plans and evil moms trying to kill children. But nevertheless, this season is without a doubt going to be a hit just like the previous season. The final thriller show I need to speak of is Kemono Jihen. When I saw the trailer of the show, I thought it would turn out to be a thriller that would pull off a stunt similar to Higurashi, but then I noticed the huge contrast between the first and second episode. In the first episode, everything was like... And here we are in the second episode.
さっきすごく悲しいことがあったよ。ハッシュタグハートブルー。ポチ。
Stop doing this to me, anime. But needless to say, I think this is the best new thriller show of this season. You've got a mystery that is slowly being built up, a premise that kicked off things to a high level in terms of storytelling, compelling characters, and some good old detectives solving mystery cases. This is going to be like the Jujutsu Kaisen of this season, and needless to say, I'm looking forward to seeing how this turns out. Now that the thrillers are gone, it's time to move into my favorite genre. Because once a wise man said, why not have one when you can have all of them? Moving along the route of returning anime, we've got my favorite harem anime, the quintessential quintuplets. Now, I'm a sucker for harem anime, but one thing that makes me annoyed is the overuse of the same tropes over and over again. But then came Quintuplets, a show that balanced harem with its tension and school elements, and also gave us characters that felt real and problems everyone could relate to. I remember binge watching the whole season in one night, but with my work I didn't have time to read the manga. So without a doubt, the return of Quintuplets is going to be a welcome sight for me. Here we have the 5 girls falling in love with their tutor, who also happens to study in the same school as them. The tutor has only one job, making sure not to fail his 5 students. The drama comes when each sister brings her own problems. We got character arcs for 3 sisters last season, so the rest of the 2 plus more drama is coming your way. The other harem anime this season is a new anime, and involves dungeons and a trapped aqua. I thought this show was going to be another cliche, but when the main character straight up insulted his father, kissed his childhood friend, and even made a move on his sister, I knew I was up to something different. Needless to say, the harem and ecchi aspects of this show are going to overshadow every other thing, but this show would be the light-hearted run of the season. You can watch this while you take a break from all the tension-filled shows of this season. Speaking of sports anime, we've got Skate the Infinity, an anime that speaks about skating with an overly ambitious young protagonist who wants to become the best. This is doing a really good job in terms of story, and the animation is needless to say fast-paced and fluid, just what you need from a sports anime. To fill up the Haikyuu spot of this season, we've got 2.43, Sein High School Boys Volleyball Team. And needless to say, it's got the same hype as all other sports anime, and our main characters seem promising, so I'm keeping my eye open for this one. Last but not least, don't forget Skate Leading Stars. It is like a toned-down version of Skate the Infinity, but this time involves figure skating. It's an underrated show, and since most of the sports fans are moving on to the 2 bigger titles, don't ignore this one. Now, let's get transported to another world.
This is the fat I brought us here, watch my long shot.
え
When speaking of Isekai Anime, there's one show we all cannot ignore. The one and only jobless reincarnation. I hadn't read the original source material, so I was genuinely curious about why the fandom was so hyped about it. But looking at the first 2 episodes, I can definitely see the potential of this series. You've got an overly altruistic Japanese salaryman once again meeting an accident as said by the Holy Bible of Isekai Anime starter pack, and now gets transported to another world where he's reborn as an overpowered baby. So what makes this stand out from the crowd? According to the light novel readers, the world building here is insane, and there is something Isekai Anime rarely do these days. The characters also grow and develop over time and don't resort to the regular overpowered trope. For example, even though our main character is overpowered as hell, he still has things he should learn. He doesn't solve every problem by casting magic or blasting off things, and over the course of the narrative he'll have to make difficult decisions with higher stakes that can actually make the viewer engaged since the tension of the series is high. Once again, moving on to returning anime, we've got Slime Isekai coming back with everyone's favorite slime, and I can say without a doubt that the story has increased in terms of quality and potential. Log Horizon comes back with its 3rd season, and our genius Shiro has more challenges to face. In terms of story, I can see this anime definitely coming at number 1. ReZero returned back again, and since it's already on the trending list, let me just say that it's once again going to be a step up from previous seasons since it's going to build up more backstory and narrative to the characters. The first part of the season 2 ended with a cliffhanger, and the second part continues directly from there. This time the character spotlight seems to shine on Emilia, and we still haven't seen Rem yet. Is it too much to ask for Rem? And as usual, spoiler alert, Subaru dies. Finally, in the Isekai niche, we've got reincarnated as Spider. We've got a slime, and now we've got a spider. If not obvious, being a spider is not going to play for your advantage. Now she needs to learn to get to the top while overcoming the challenges thrown at her. If you plan on giving up the anime because the main character is a spider, don't! There is much more to this anime than just talking spiders. Now, all of that is done. Let's get to the fighting. So Attack on Titan is back, and that's not brand new information for anyone, but all you should know is that Eren is back, Levi is back, Peak is hot, Flock is fat, and Mikasa has cut her hair short again, but she's still a badass. In terms of story, I can say we reached the level of peak anime storytelling. Try to remember that if MAPPA didn't pick this up, we would never have gotten a 4th season. When speaking of the good stuff MAPPA is doing, we can turn into Jujutsu Kaisen. The first core of the season was a blast with a great animation, pacing and story, and I see the second part definitely living up to the hype. Another returning underrated anime is World Trigger. This has the regular apocalyptic man vs alien setting but with an overpowered main character. It has some interesting plot twists, plus with the year difference you can definitely see some increase in production quality. There are a few new action anime to grace this season as well. Back Arrow tells the story of a man without memory landing inside a village surrounded by huge walls. It is directed by the same person who directed Code Geass, and with the mech anime I can definitely see the Code Geass feel in it. So far in terms of story, the series is pretty good. The characters didn't stick out to me very much, but the action and tension managed to keep me hooked through the episode. Death games never seem to get old in anime. Last season we had Darwin's Game, and this season we have High Rise Invasion. This anime, released by Netflix, is based on the popular manga of the same name where a schoolgirl is trapped in a death game. The trailer is giving me the High School of the Dead vibes, but with much less fan service. It's coming in February, so don't forget to add this one to your watch list. The underrated action show of this season is Project Scarred. This anime is like a combination of Fate Stay Night and Taboo Tattoo. You've got a battle royale, this time fought by people with tattoos. It seems to have an interesting premise since it has a way of blending Greek and Roman mythology to the mystery of the story. For example, each of these tattoos has the power of a demon or a god hidden within it, and each of them is given the name of an ancient god. But so far in terms of the story, this hasn't surprised me, but this seems to be a show that focuses on the action rather than plot. So if you want action, then go for it. And among all of this, the 4th season of 7 Deadly Sins is airing, and it's once again done by Studio Dean, and let's just hope it won't be a disaster like last time. The final show I need to speak of is Hortensia Saga. This is based on a mobile game, so once again, don't expect much story in it. But we've got 4 characters, so we can expect to see the world in the eyes of all these 4. I took a quick peek at the first episode, and if you're a fan of fantasy, then you're going to love it. And the characters seem to have a certain uniqueness to them as well. But sadly, in terms of action, this felt like pretty basic animation. But perhaps the next few episodes will surprise me. Now that all the main genres have been covered, I need to speak of some anime I cannot easily categorize into a genre, or anime that covers multiple genres during its narrative. Some of these might be slice of life, comedy, or things that would warm your heart after all the action and genocidal violence of this season. Beastars was one of the anime I loved. From the outside, it might look like a story of talking animals, but in truth, it serves as a lens to watch the qualities of human society itself. You've got the class difference, how strong preys on the weak, and even a political hierarchy that is based on the usual student council. And behind all of this is a love story between a herbivore and a carnivore. I know the plot sounds bizarre, but this is a sort of anime you should binge watch all at once. And if not obvious, that is what I'm planning on doing for the second season as well. And so far, what I believe to be the biggest underrated show is Wonder Egg Priority. At first, I read its premise on Mull, and I was like, what? But now that I've watched the anime, I can see how it tackles multiple themes in a subtle way while also building the mystery around the world. This is a psychological anime, so there's going to be plenty of explosion-filled dialogue along with hidden symbolism and layers of story. So if you are the one for those types of anime, give this one a go. And speaking of psychological stuff, Higurashi returned back. Once again, proving Subaru is not the most suffered anime protagonist, but it's Rina. Once again, she is dragged back into the mysteries happening in Hinamizawa, and I like how the new anime follows a basic building block of each arc but then twists it a complete 180 to reveal a shocking and different conclusion. I'm at the part where one girl pulls another girl's intestines, so in other words, what I just said is not to watch this anime before having dinner. If you're tired of all the violence in Higurashi, then watch Laid Back Camp. There is no violence. Not villains trying to kill all these girls, and it's all about just relaxing in your seat and watching cute anime girls relax as well. This is the anime you can use as an anti-depression pill, or something to watch in the cold winter evenings with a cup of coffee, because Laid Back Camp is all about warming your heart with its wholesomeness. Speaking of other returning anime, we have our Stone Age Doctor arriving for a second season. Cells at work are coming back, and once again where blood cells are at war. Speaking of the kawaii anime of this season, we've got Idly Pride and Gekiol. Both revolve around the music genre and shows how cute girls sing every day. I think that should be enough to motivate you. As returning kawaii anime, we've got the third season of Non Non Biyori returning back to the TV screen. Bungo Stray Dogs arrived with its own comedic spin-off. I would have given this a special place in the list, but this is just like Fate's Carnival Phantasm or Attack on Titan's Junior High. It's just a series played off for the comedy, so if you want some laughs and some nostalgic memories of all your favorite characters, then why not give this a watch? Moving along the comedic route, we've also got Vlad Love, an anime that once again puts a fresh spin on blood, vampires, and beautiful girls disguised as bloodthirsty vampires. But unlike Higurashi, this isn't going to be a horror show and instead focuses on the comedic sides of things. It's actually great, to be honest. I mean, when was the last time you saw vampires doing funny things that could be instant memes? And I seem to have covered more than 90% of the shows airing this winter. As I mentioned in the beginning, the main reason I created this video is to give popularity to the more underrated ones of this season. So I focused more on them rather than the ones which are currently trending and more popular. If there was any anime I missed, don't hesitate to mention it down below in the comments, guys. And do tell me your thoughts on the videos like this so I can improve my content along with your feedback. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to click that like button and also to subscribe to the channel. That's it for today, anime geeks. I'll see you in the next video.